Home sales are not only super low, but when you compare that to the population, I mean,
it's even lower.
That's a 50%. I mean, from 240 to 340, that's 40. That's a 50% increase.
Adjust for population, it would be even lower. Obviously, we know why. A couple factors.
Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. Today, we are going to be discussing the Worldwide Developer Conference that just happened, I think it was yesterday, a couple days ago, for Apple. And they are going to be introducing large language models, or better known as simply AI, and being able to integrate that with Siri. So what do we think about all that, and how is this going to impact us in our real estate world?
Who are they using?
Well, they've actually created their own, but then apparently they're going to, anything that's open source, they're going to potentially integrate with. So one of the options, of course, is going to be ChatGPT.
Which is OpenAI.
That's right.
Which is Microsoft.
Which is Microsoft.
Which is very interesting. So
Yep.
Apple and Microsoft are launching some sort of stealth partnership.
Yeah,
And Elon Musk is not happy about this.
Yeah, I'm a big Twitter guy, and I read some of his tweets about about this whole connection with Apple and OpenAI.
He considers a security breach.
Yeah, he said if Apple uses OpenAI, then no one in his company will be allowed to use an Apple phone.
Yeah,
they will have to turn it in before they even
Apple device.
When you walk into the Gigafactory, it'll you have to check your phone at the door.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just salty.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's saying that if their Apple devices, if they're able to pinpoint hey, here's Tesla. Take all the Apple devices, get all the information, and put it in one little area. And now we have all these people using AI at Tesla, and they're getting all this information about Tesla.
That makes sense.
It is quite compelling.
It'll crawl, right? I mean, it gets all that information.
And I'm sure Apple has information to go hey, pinpoint a location and take all the phone's information.
Absolutely.
And pull it in. I don't know. I mean, I get it.
I get it too.
I mean, you're the richest person in the world. First of all,
and some of the most leading technology in the world.
Yeah, the best AI technology as far as with driverless cars. So
absolutely, they smashed it. With that,
well, they're going to smash it. They haven't smashed it yet. But
well, I know you got a Tesla. I got a Tesla. I got to tell you, the latest updates for the full self-driving it's actually hard to describe how good it is. It's thoroughly shocking to me. You can put the car in different modes and just even things that it sees and the way it decisions traffic, it actually is really mind-boggling. It almost kind of freaks you out when you're I'm still adjusting.
Yeah.
So does that mean I'm safe because I have an Android?
Yes. You can go work for Elon.
Yeah, Elon approved.
That's funny.
Yeah, or he could be salty. I mean, I'm sure he's still salty too because it's OpenAI. He was one of the founders of OpenAI.
Yep.
And then just walked away from it because they were doing some wacko things or supposedly wacko things. But I don't know.
What is it? Is it XAI or AIX?
XAI.
XAI. Yeah.
But they're like a $60 billion company. Day one, not even having anything. So.
I know.
Gosh, that just
Elon
must be
puts
nice.
his name on something and billion plus instantaneously.
Well, let's talk about the application for real estate.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? How do you think that this can affect the agents every day? Right? Hey Siri.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be really cool to be able to get on your text and say, "Hey Siri, respond to the text from Kayla." And say this or say something like this, but say it nicer or happier or whatever.
Yeah, an immediate one.
In a romantic tone, please.
As I was going through,
I would see right through that.
Love and what is it? Love and appreciation.
What did you do to my husband?
Getting some help with some OpenAI help.
Wow. Or one of the ones that jumped out to me as I was going through the pre-show notes is, what if you have that troublesome inspection or the client wants to, raise their price or whatever else? I know totally one just little quick story is hilarious. It just made me go crazy.
To raise their price.
Yes, that's exactly.
So
a couple years ago, Keith and I were selling a house. We got this house under contract for an obnoxious price. obnoxious. It was like easily 10% above the market. And I was like, okay, now it was a nice house.
Yeah.
It had a premium lot, all kinds of stuff. I was like, all right, but just there's zero numbers to justify it.
Right.
The house didn't appraise, shockingly.
Right.
We warned him.
And
Yeah,
we told him it
of course.
wasn't going to.
Yeah.
So then the buyer, we couldn't come to terms. He ends up canceling. Guess what he wanted to do?
Raise the price.
Raise the price.
Raise the price.
And if you had this large language model that
Oh,
Apple
dude,
is building paired with ChatGPT, you could have came up with a really good response.
Well, and I knew the client personally too. I actually don't think I've ever been so pissed off at somebody, right? Because it was like an insult to me, like where I'm just like, okay, cool. There's no justification. Do you want to sell your house or not? And they were like relocating the whole bit. I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of and seen.
I can tell you're still like
Still pissed off.
You're
And I
still
mean, this is probably, like,
agitated. 5 years ago, 8 years ago.
It was like a long time ago.
No, but it is crazy when you're dealing with a homeowner and they want to raise their price, and you're going like, "Whoa, wait,
There's
what?"
no justification for it.
No, yeah.
There's just zero zip zilch.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so taking responses and making them better. One way.
Absolutely. An inspection. How do you, hey, here's an issue. How do you want to deal with this? Think about it even with the negotiations between like a buyer's agent, right? Or that cross-sale agent when you feel like they're being unreasonable, right? And you want to make that tone sound nicer, right? Or send a text message sounding like a pirate.
Or
Put some humor in it.
how about when you need to quickly write up a post-possession agreement?
Oh, there you go. Exactly. That is the beauty of a lot of this, right? It has access to the entire internet, basically all laws, so it's going to keep you compliant and knowing like,
Maybe.
sounding
Yeah,
like you know what you're
maybe,
talking about.
right?
Yeah,
I
until it
didn't
goes off the
realize
rails.
The human element of things, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So Siri is going to basically be ChatGPT, pretty much.
Correct.
So we'll be able to ask Siri pretty much anything, and hey, do this, do that, write me a text, and it'll actually open up your message and probably drop it in there or something like that.
Correct. It'll be able to even just like read the email, respond, read a text, respond. It'll even do images apparently. Like, so if you want to like, and it said that like it was going to do images in 3 different capacities, like emojis, some type of like, I forget exactly what it was, but like image generation, right? Which that's what is OpenAI's image creator? Colby, you know what it is? What is it?
Jupiter.
Dolly. That's
Dolly,
it. Yeah, it's Dolly.
DALLE,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. DALE, something like that. Okay, yeah.
The AI image creator.
Which isn't very. It's not the best.
They all continue. The image creation I feel like has actually been very difficult for AI, but it is getting better.
The one on Canva, I think, is amazing.
Yeah,
It's-
the one on
it's
Canva's
getting
pretty
better.
good.
Well,
and unless you do
Until
humans.
you zoom in.
If you do humans, you're gonna have
no,
like
yeah.
They look like
Yeah,
Androids.
that's what I'm saying. Until you zoom in.
limbs.
Not humans, but like when it's
Yes.
when you know it's not real, it looks good.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
I made a
like-
bear on a skateboard the other day, and it was really cool.
Made a monkey licking a popsicle.
Yeah, I don't know why it
That's
has
pretty good,
faces with like or trouble with faces. I mean, it is kind of weird, right? Because obviously it'll nail the bodies, skin tones, what you want, like the background. But if you zoom in on their face, they're like
It's weird looking.
it is wild.
Or like extra fingers.
Oh,
Like AI does not understand why we need fingers.
Yeah, I just think AI doesn't like humans.
Bro, they're just gathering a bunch more information. I mean, this is like a massive
The data
grab.
grab.
Dude, it's data
So,
grab.
but okay, so then what are they going to use? They must be using AI to process all this data
Oh,
because
have to.
like who could comb through
No way.
that significant amount of data and draw conclusions? They're probably running another LLM on the data that they get from the
Absolutely.
the LLM.
It probably goes 3 or 4 deep,
Yeah.
right? And then they're running big data analytics and projections on that, right? Because the more behavior metrics that they can project, the
Yeah,
easier
like-
their business models get.
And I mean, like, I think the application for this sort of stuff for retail is insane. I know, like, Target, apparently, like, if you go in and you buy cotton balls and, like, 1 or 2 other things in conjunction with each other, cocoa butter, cotton balls, and one other thing, like, there's a 90-something% chance you're pregnant.
I know.
Like, they
And-
know.
And they nail it.
Yes. They know, like, all this stuff about you just on what you buy. Which is kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, that's why like even a VPN is so important today. And I mean, depending on what you want to do, unless you don't want people to see what you're looking at. But I mean, based on the sites that you're going to, you can tell when somebody's moving, not moving. You can tell what they're buying. You can tell what they're in the market for just by trolling your internet search
IP.
history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
It's fascinating.
It is, and it's gonna be like what movie is? You guys remember that on Minority Report?
Oh,
where they
yeah.
would like scan your eyes and like basically.
They take your they basically are saying that you're going to do something there's a high probability you're going to do
You're going to
something
kill
in the
somebody,
future.
so we're going to arrest you
Right.
before.
Yeah.
All based on your
Even
behaviors.
And then yeah.
I mean, that's
anyway.
freaky.
But even like they would be able to like sell you. Remember, like he's
watch it
walking down the
happen.
street,
Don't even think about it.
walking down the
Think
street,
about
and they would like the advertisements were like they would know their name and all kinds of just stuff.
And
I
it's
don't know.
coming to fruition.
I forget what that. I know I've mentioned this in a show or two, and I need to look it up so I can actually remember it. But there's that thing where they introduce you to what's going to happen in the future, like 20, 25 years before in movies. And then so it's like basically so you can digest it easier. Right? It's like it's a conspiracy
They
theory
still don't
thing.
have flying skateboards yet, though. From Back to the Future.
But if you actually look at what is
The hoverboard.
come true
There you go.
from Back to the Future to now, they've hit so many things. Like one of the biggest things is the video chat and remember he gets "you're fired," and it's like basically FaceTime back in the time. Right?
FaceTime. Yep.
Yeah, but that was the second one.
The one of the ones that they did miss though, remember is he faxes him, "You're fired." I'm like, we blew past that.
Yeah, that went by kind of quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fax had an important but short-lived life.
Oh, I totally remember. Like when I first got in the business, I'm not ashamed to say it. We had to fax contracts around for a long time.
That was the way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, from a non-sadistic side of that technology, who knows where it's going to lead us in the long run. I mean, I think it could be good for agents. I know that every time, and I definitely need to use more stuff because every time I do, I'm like, oh man, how long could I have been using this?
Yes.
Oh, dude, it makes like
'Cause otherwise, I'm sitting there thinking or trying to come up with something cool, and I'm like, there's like stuff that'll smoke me 1,000 times over. Why am I trying so hard here? And I don't mean because I don't want to try, but you use it to your advantage to make your life easier. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to do.
Well, and I find that it gets the
Agreed.
creative juices going so much. It's not that I use like 100% of it, like ChatGPT, for example. I'll throw in my thoughts. I want this, I want that, do this, do that. Here's what I need to include. And then it spits it out, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool. Change this, zig here, zag here, right? And so it's still personalized, it's still my thoughts, but it just says it in a bit better manner than I certainly would. And definitely a lot less typos.
So in our last, we just hired for a couple positions here at Zoodealio, and during that search process in the ad, I used, of course, ChatGPT to help me write the ad, but I also put in the ad, like, we're looking for somebody who uses AI, but like not too much because, hey, we can all tell when you copy and paste it right from ChatGPT. And I had several applicants tell me that they thought that was so funny because they're using chat for all sorts of things. And yeah, it was just interesting. But yeah, you have to know like when you go too far with it. Because I can tell, like, we got an email yesterday and I could I'll tell you offline who it was and what the email was about. But I could 1,000,000% tell that it was straight from ChatGPT. Like, I just instantly knew it. So you can tell.
I have a funny one.
Okay.
You know-
I might have an idea.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just brought it up.
Yeah.
Because it was the
Yeah.
way it was structured. I was like,
You can tell. You're
Yeah.
like, oh
I
yeah.
wouldn't have thought about it unless you just not brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
So-
a funny one that's been brought to my attention on, and I don't know how she knew, but it's Carly, my wife, and she works in the property management space. And sometimes when people are late on rent for whatever else, they'll email in, and she's like, she can totally tell when they're like ChatGPT, especially now that it's been going. It's managing hundreds and hundreds of properties. That happens more than you might think.
Is
And
it like
so-
a super well written out sob story?
It could
Yeah.
be, exactly. And she said even though they're different,
Why the
because
rent's not there.
AI, based on what you put into it, it will basically not give the same response like ever, right? But they're similar.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, but I'm glad people are using it because you're right, Keith. It can save you time and energy and effort and allow you to focus on the things that may be more important.
Yes. Yes.
Be more effective,
Like,
right?
hey Siri, write me an offer on 3931 Vista Verde for 1.1 million.
And,
And then it asks you all the questions about what you need to fill in the contract. That'd be
Totally,
really
dude.
cool.
That's what we
dope,
were.
dude.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to build, but I mean, it was. But then we don't own the forms, so
Yeah.
you got to have.
Well, then there's
Yeah.
companies now that have started to solve that problem, and then it's funny how there's little. Oh, speaking
Yeah,
of series,
okay, Siri.
see, they're always listening, right? Yeah,
triggered
it's
mine
wild.
too.
I mean, it is very peculiar, or not peculiar. I think it's very curious how much different it's going to look in even 1 year than even 5 years, right? It's moving lightning quick right now.
How long has ChatGPT been out? Like 18 months? About?
Yeah, I would say give or take 18 months to 2 years.
We were
Gosh, already?
so where were we? Oh yeah, I remember. We were returning our rental car in Kauai, and we like pulled up into the thing and like got out, and they still check your car there in Kauai, and the attendant, it was a guy, and he was like a younger guy, really cool, aloha vibe, all of that, and he's like, please leave us a review, and Jason's like, all right, I'll use ChatGPT to write you a review, and he looked at us like.
Hello.
He's like
What?
so confused. Like, what did you just say?
Yeah, what's
and
ChatGPT?
Jason's like, Jason could tell he had no clue what he was saying. And Jason's like, ChatGPT? And the guy's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And we're like,
Like, Google
go
it.
check it out.
Change your life. You will lead the island.
Yeah.
Or that's how good his life is. He just lives in that
Exactly,
tropical
I was
life. He
gonna
don't
say
need no
that's- yeah,
technology.
that's part of
So
it's like,
true.
that's
He's living in the sun every day.
Could be. It was
That is pretty funny though.
It
You don't
was.
get that response too often.
It was funny. Hey, so in other news, home sales are at 1978 levels.
Wow.
So what does that exactly mean?
That means they're very low, Keith, but let me kind of break it down for us.
So is inventory, right?
So this year they're projecting 4.14 million home sales, which we know is really low. But the comparison, so in 1978, there were roughly about that many home sales. But the biggest difference is population. In 1978, the U.S. population was 223 million.
Oh my gosh.
And in 2024, we're at 341 million. So home sales are not only super low, but when you compare that to the population, I mean,
It's even lower.
That's a
it's
50%.
way
I
low.
mean, from 240 to
223 to
340. That's
341,
That's a 50% increase.
No, about 40%. So it would probably be like more like adjusted 2.8.
Exactly.
million.
Right. If we were to adjust for population, it would be even lower. I guess the bottom line is home sales are very, very low right now. And obviously we know why. Couple factors. Homeowners locked into low rates.
Yeah.
Rates high. Prices high.
Yeah.
Affordability is a huge
Yeah, our
issue.
affordability index is horrible. Like, isn't
Well,
it one of the
and-
worst it's been in in modern history?
And it
It's
seems
horrible.
like the
Well,
year of an election, a lot of people get a little bit more leery and see what happens first.
Yeah, for sure.
So take the wait and see approach. Yeah. Because, yeah,
That definitely happened in 2016.
right. And
And
2020.
Yeah.
Because I think that people in times of uncertainty, maybe we tend to just stay put,
Yep.
not make any big decisions, that sort of thing. But there was a recent study done by Redfin about the importance of housing affordability when they go to vote for the election. So housing affordability is Gen Z's top voting issue.
Wow.
It is above abortion rights, above the economy. So it's coming in
makes
as,
perfect sense to me.
the number one issue.
It's the number
I
one
don't
expense
remember.
for the
Who is-
overwhelming
am I
majority of the
Gen Z?
population. Yes.
Okay.
Gen Z?
Are you Gen Z?
Yeah, he's Gen-
1986. I don't know if it has the years or not.
Oh no, yeah, he's
Millennial.
millennial.
Yeah, you're a millennial.
Yeah. Wait, what's our generation?
I've seen
we
it
Gen X?
across the board. Like
we're
I
Gen
just-
X.
We're Gen X.
You're a
yeah.
boomer.
We're a Gen X.
No.
You act like a boomer. Just kidding.
Oh,
So for
cut that, Colby. Cut that.
So for Gen X, the strength of the economy is the number one issue. But for Gen Z, housing affordability is number one.
Younger than me then.
Yeah, they're younger than you.
okay.
So like Colby, he's Gen Z.
Yeah, he's
And-
pissed that he can't buy a house right now.
or even afford to live, right? Like that's why I think so many people are living at home.
They used
Yeah.
to live
It's
in a home,
expensive.
Colby.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it's just the thing. It's the thing now. It used to be different. It's not like that anymore. I mean, it's so expensive to go out and not just to buy a home, but also to rent a home.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know our generation is like my friends, remember, I'm 18, 19, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's like,
Yeah, but-
live home till you're mid-20s.
I think my first apartment was like $300 a month.
Yeah, massively different.
Yeah, my first apartment was like $600.
I'm aging myself.
I think mine was
right?
like $700.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Crazy town.
Living in a
So
home.
for sure, it's housing affordability is it's why we have such low home sales.
So which president is going to help that more?
Well, Biden's already introduced some legislation to kind of add a little bit of liquidity to the market. So I don't think it's enough.
Just what we need.
Yeah.
More liquidity.
More liquidity. Yeah. What
Well,
does this mean? Creating more
dollars.
Yeah, I was
more
about to say-
fiat monopoly money.
Yeah, whose hands is that actually going to end up in? Not
Yeah.
the people's.
And it's not. It was what was it like for people that own a starter home? You can get an incentive, I think, of like 10 grand. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. I don't have it in front of me, and I'm just relying off my memory. But
What didn't they do for immigrants too? Like the immigrants that never owned a home, they can now buy a home.
Yeah,
and
be a
get
dreamer.
Get a
Dreaming.
there might have been something for that too. Not totally sure. Maybe we can dive into it next podcast and talk more about that. But hey, it is an issue. We have very low home sales. That obviously impacts our industry. If you are a real estate agent and you are looking to get more business in today's environment, we want to invite you to check out Zoodealio. So go to Zoodealio.com. You can click watch a demo. You can get a live demo. Someone from our team would be more than happy to show you how it works and how you can put yourself in front of more people that are considering selling their home. So just a little plug for what we do
It'll
here.
help them solve the problem.
pluggeroo.
All right. I mean, you want to do more deals? It's the pathway.
It's the only pathway.
It is. And we're working with agents across the U.S. right now that are putting themselves into many real estate conversations, which lead to closings
Yep.
because of the tools and resources that we have to offer. So definitely check it out.
It's good.
All right. Well, I'll close this out. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. As always, remember to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you are always notified when we drop new episodes so that you can keep that saw nice and sharp. Bye.